He's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in! And forget away!
Golazo! Golazo! Golazo!
We are back on the soccer show on SleepyHollowRadio.com. I'm Kevin Aguirre, joined by Aidan Baller. We got a good show for you guys. We're going to start it off with recap of the FA Cup, where first match is Marine against Tottenham. Now, this match was quite to say very interesting. It
was definitely a cool match in the FA Cup, and obviously I think one of the coolest parts about the FA Cup is how teams that are eighth tier sides are going against the teams in the Premier League, and just seeing the differences between the players is really cool to see.
This, of course, is really interesting. And knowing Marine, their whole squad is basically their starting 11 against Tottenham. It consisted of only 2 professional players. The rest have jobs outside of football, which is crazy. And the beauty of the FA Cup, there's a tweet on social media where it's waking up and seeing Gareth Bale outside my window, which is pretty cool.
It's really cool how that stadium is surrounded by all these houses. It's right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's just a perfect place to play.
And Tottenham just shows up, and you have a professional team just playing there in a neighborhood. That's what's so cool about the FA Cup.
Yeah, and moving on.
And obviously, we didn't say the score. Tottenham annihilated 5-0. Marine 5-0.
I mean, it was expected, because Tottenham obviously have more experience,
and they're playing an 8th tier side, so it was they definitely enjoyed having Tottenham there.
Next up, we've got Liverpool, to be exactly correct. 17-year-old Louis Barry scored his first goal for Aston Villa, and what a moment that was! I mean, to score against the Premier League champions, that's
definitely pretty cool, yeah. And then obviously it was tied 1-1 at halftime, so people were kind of saying Liverpool out.
Yeah, that was not good. The good first half.
Shaqiri and Thiago came on and just turned that game.
Yeah, I mean, thank God that happened. I mean, if it ended 1-1, that wouldn't have been good news.
Or if Liverpool went down, how crazy that would have been. Out in round 3 of the FA Cup.
There's been some pretty upsets as of late, but we'll get into those. Next up, we've got Arsenal against Newcastle. Arsenal, an easy 2-0 win. Goes from Emile Smith-Rowe and Aubameyang in extra time. Yes, they had to go to extra time because they tied 0-0 in the full 90 minutes.
And Arsenal has not conceded a goal in 2021. Their defense deserves a lot of credit.
I think, their defense has
that back
improved.
line with Tierney, Marie Holding, and Hector Bellerin have been providing more than effective for them.
Yeah, and they've been winning without Partey or Willian. We know Partey had an injury, but he's back in the squad. Willian at the same time, he's had his starting 11 chances, but he hasn't proven to be worth calling up for. I think
the whole thing with Willian is just Bukayo Saka is kind of just he's taken that role on the right side, and he just deserves to start. He's faster. He's much more creative.
I agree.
I think especially his crosses. I know Willian, he's never been the greatest crosser of the ball. It's a very direct and kind of Bukayo Saka's crosses are much more lofty and gives people a chance.
Absolutely. Bukayo Saka has proved that he's one of the best Premier League youngsters in today's history. I mean, that's just crazy. We go on to Manchester United, who knocked off Watford with a 1-0 win with an early goal in the 5th minute from Scott McTominay. And with that, we will move to Chelsea, who beat Morecambe 4-0.
Chelsea have been struggling. Teams looked in the bin. A lot of questions about Lampard and surrounding if he is the manager for the club. But I think this game was a big confidence booster. Obviously, Havertz and Werner both got goals.
Yeah, so how do you feel about that? Do you think this is good news for both players?
I definitely think it's good news. I mean, it's definitely not bad news that they're scoring in an FA Cup game. If you're not scoring in an FA Cup game, I don't know why you're here. But I think that's good to see that they both scored. Hopefully it boosts their confidence a little bit. I know obviously Hakeem Ziyech returned in that game, and he was delivering some beautiful balls. Set up Callum Hudson-Odoi, that Timo Werner goal because he crossed to Havertz. Havertz hit it back.
Yeah.
It's definitely I'm optimistic, but we're gonna see. I mean, Morecambe's not a side you can really truly judge a team on.
Yeah, we'll see after. I do believe that their next game in all competitions against Fulham, so that's going to be like quite a test.
And also, it was interesting. One last thing was, normally like in a round 3 FA Cup game, you're not going to start all your best players, but
Yeah.
it looked like Lampard put his best squad in that game because he knew players needed confidence. So hopefully it helps, but we'll see. They got Fulham on Saturday.
Yeah, they needed a match where they could prove their quality. I mean, if it's not in the Premier League, it might as well be in the FA Cup, and I agree with what you said. We move on to Leeds United, who got destroyed by League Two side Crawley Town 3-0. Nobody expected this.
No one
result.
expected that, and I think kind of like it just reflects this problem with Leeds that they've continued to have is they either like play down to their opponents or they rise to the occasion.
That's the beauty of English football. I'll be honest, like it happens to anyone, but I think especially for Leeds because they've been promoted last season. I mean, it's just crazy knowing like all the hype they got. Like, oh, they're a pretty good team. They'll stay up. I think a 3-0 defeat to League Two side is just unacceptable.
It's definitely unacceptable, and especially for like that Leeds United team. It's like we saw them at the beginning of the season. They can play anyone. They were playing with Liverpool, sticking with them pretty well.
Yeah, they almost tied against them. That's crazy.
They can stick with anyone, so it's definitely a disappointing loss, but it's the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It stinks, but you still got a Premier League season to focus on.
Absolutely. And with that, we move on to the Premier League. We got one more FA Cup, actually. It's Premier League / FA Cup. We got a match for the ages, Manchester United against Liverpool in both the Premier League and in the FA Cup.
This Sunday, they play in the Premier League, and then later on in January, they play in the FA Cup.
This is interesting stuff. Liverpool have not beaten Manchester United in Old Trafford in the FA Cup competition since January 12th of 1921. That's really cool.
It's very interesting to see. And then their last 2 games in the Premier League have both been draws. And obviously this season, a 1-1 draw in October in Old Trafford.
Yeah, I think since Man United have beaten only one current top 5 team this season, which was Everton, Liverpool are also definitely shaky with 2 draws and 1 loss to Southampton. You know, there's obviously lots of questions surrounding the club.
What do you think the solution is to the attack? I mean, obviously a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, Mo Salah, he's not completely producing. They're looking a little shady. I honestly think they're a little tired.
I
think
agree.
the Christmas, the holiday break, not holiday break, the holiday 40 games, 17 days. I think that does a lot on a player.
I honestly think that, yeah, I agree. It's like heavy workload for Salah and Mane. I think like for future matches, just like bench, you could bench like one of them, like you could bench both, and you could stick in someone like Shaqiri or Minamino or Origi. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it will be worth it because they just need like a break, you know.
And I think that FA Cup mini break definitely helped them a lot.
Absolutely.
Like get back fitness. And what's interesting is like you look at, I mean, they're playing in Anfield. I think that's important to address. Liverpool doesn't lose at Anfield.
No, they don't.
So I see, like, even though, I mean, Man United are definitely playing at a high level.
Yeah.
They haven't lost since RB Leipzig knocked them out of the Champions League.
Yeah, and it's really important that Paul Tierney will referee this game.
And Tierney has a history. This year, he leads the league in fouls per game, leads the league in yellow cards, 45, and is tied with the most red cards handed out with 3 red cards. And it's definitely a difficult game to judge because Paul Tierney can definitely screw us side, considering the amount of fouls he gives out.
I honestly, my opinion, I did see like a meme on social media that said if this happened, the internet would go wild. It was a goal sheet, basically a match sheet where it said Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1, and Bruno Fernandes won it in the penalty spot.
Of course.
In the 93rd minute. That would be just haunting.
And
for
it would
Liverpool.
probably just be some like random handball goal.
Yeah, I'm really scared of that happening. I mean, considering Paul Tierney, who has already like so many fouls in the league, and the yellow cards and the red cards as well. Like
he's already had so much controversy come his way.
You just never know with this.
You never
referee.
know. So it's definitely that could definitely shake up the game and screw one team or the other. But what's interesting about so now looking at Manchester United's attack, 44% of their attacks are on the left side with either Martial or Paul Pogba playing that left side, and they will be matched up with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's gonna be an interesting duel. I think. We'll see who wins that there, but I think in general, Manchester United definitely they've been on a roll. Liverpool is shaky, so we could definitely see Manchester United attacking more in this game, or we may not. I could be saying the opposite.
So let's do our predictions for the FA Cup game in Old Trafford. What's your pick?
In Old Trafford, I'm going to say in the FA Cup, I'm going to say 2-1 to Manchester United.
My pick for the FA Cup, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw, and they'll be going to Anfield for the second leg, where Liverpool will then win 2-0.
That's
because they don't lose at Anfield.
I mean, definitely, for the FA Cup, I just want to clarify that Jurgen Klopp could make these substitutions. He's regular players won't have to start. So I think if that happens, then Liverpool will probably lose. But
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
And then I think now for the Premier League, which will definitely be the more anticipated matchup coming this Sunday. What's your pick for that?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say 2-1 to Liverpool. 2-1.
I'm gonna say 1-0 to Liverpool. I think they're gonna play so strong. I think they'll find their form again, and if Man United's coming to Anfield, there's not a chance they're not gonna elevate their game, find their form, and start playing well.
The thing with this game, and this is where the crazy analogies come in, is that Manchester United earlier in the season, they fell to Tottenham 6-1, and the fact that Liverpool can defeat Tottenham 3-2, I believe that was that score, makes it seem like Liverpool can easily beat Manchester United. But there's at times where it's not the case, where it goes let's say Manchester United beat Liverpool 4-0, that could happen. But
and also Manchester United, they are winning games, but you look at that game against Burnley last week, they did not look they won the game 1-0, but it was not a convincing victory at all. So I think this team could kind of be like Chelsea, where Chelsea won 17 straight.
Yeah.
Or 17 games without a loss. And they were people were kind of oh, this Chelsea team's really good. And then I played a really good team, and they got shut down, and now they're kind of in this bad drought. So maybe that happens for Man United as well.
Yeah, and the table, it could go, we know now that Manchester United are leaders with 36 points. Liverpool are behind with only 3 points less. And, a win for Liverpool would tie them up and would send them back to first. And we know Bruno Fernandes is on fire with just today he became the first player in Premier League history to win 4 Premier League
man of the month, right?
Yeah,
player of the month,
and that's crazy. So we'll see. I'll be interested to see Bruno Fernandes in this game.
It'll definitely be an interesting game. He'll be a big factor to watch. Yeah. Now let's move into the rest of the games. Sheffield United get their first win.
This is everyone
of the Premier League season.
This is really good news. They won just by a penalty goal against Newcastle, which was converted by Billy Sharp, which gives the Blades hope of escaping relegation. This is technically their second win in a row in all competitions, because they did defeat Bristol Rovers 3-2 in the FA Cup before that game.
And that makes me happy to see Sheffield United get their first win.
It was about time.
It was a week of teams getting the first win. Obviously, Schalke got their, we'll talk about them later, but they got their first win in the Bundesliga. So cool things to see.
And we talked already with Manchester United, who defeated Burnley with that goal from Paul Pogba, and that sent them up to first place in the Premier League. Both the men's and the women's Manchester United teams are both at the top of the table. This is crazy.
Manchester dominance, kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, no one's even talking about City though, but they're in third, so we'll see.
City is definitely moving in the table. Yeah. People aren't taking notice.
Yeah, they last time I saw, they were in the mid-table, and now they're all the way up to third, which is crazy.
They cleaned up Brighton put them third in the league, so they're definitely playing well.
Yeah, and Everton slipped past Wolves to get 3 points from a 2-1 win. Wolves, they don't look as sharp as they once were. They're currently 14th in the league table.
And I think they definitely miss Pedro Neto, Raul Jimenez at striker.
Yeah, and considering Traore is not playing at his best anymore, like he once was, the whole team basically. But
yeah, I think it was. I know Jimenez went to one of the games. I think players are definitely excited to see that like he's recovering, he's making progress, so they're optimistic about his eventual return. But obviously, it's not now.
Yeah, good news for Everton that they're back in their winning ways. So.
Everton's right back to. They kind of look similar to how they were playing early in the season.
Yeah,
definitely playing well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's refound his old form.
Absolutely. And now we're going to Manchester City, who beat Brighton 1-0 and are now third in the league. We already discussed that. We have Tottenham and Fulham, who drew 1-1. This game was pretty hectic, not going to lie, because originally Tottenham were scheduled to face Aston Villa from a postponed game, so that it was supposed to be postponed for, I believe it was 2 days ago. But then before, I believe, before the game started, the game started like a day before, Tottenham received news that they would be facing Fulham instead, and this got Mourinho furious. And I think Tottenham's defense seemed extremely fragile, I think, and that counterattack just like
it continues to struggle.
I mean, to tie against a team like Fulham, I mean, don't get me wrong, Fulham got good players, but they haven't been performing at their best.
And I don't like Mourinho criticizing the Premier League for kind of dropping that game right on them, saying like, oh, you have a game tomorrow against Fulham. I 100% rather play Fulham compared to Aston Villa, I think, any day of the week.
Fulham, yeah, right now I believe it is clear to say that Aston Villa are a better looking team than Fulham, and to play Fulham instead of Aston Villa, it should be a gift. You shouldn't have to be struggling that much, but unfortunately
they'll play Villa later in the season to make up that game, but you're playing Fulham, you need to win that game. And what I think is like kind of interesting, talking about the Premier League and how they've been like there's kind of been an outbreak. I know Fulham's had problems, Manchester City, Aston Villa. And I think it's interesting how the Premier League is kind of shuffling these games around to get as many games as possible. So come end of the season, they don't need to do too many makeup games.
Yeah, so like you said, multiple COVID outbreaks have caused many games to be postponed. You think it's time to take a reset, or should the Premier League continue to play despite London being in a lockdown?
I mean, I honestly think soccer's had a really positive impact on London. I mean, obviously, it stinks. Everyone's in lockdown. If soccer is able to continue in a safe fashion, I mean, if players can continue to do their part, socially distant, quarantine, stay away from everyone, and they're willing to, everyone has to do it. It has to be everyone.
Yeah.
I believe in a season. If they feel a break is necessary, then
I personally like having 1 or 2 games postponed. I don't think it should like affect the other matches. I think if you have 1 or 2 games postponed, you can still watch the other matches that are you're able to watch. But if it comes to the case where it's like, okay, we're gonna have more teams now going into a quarantine or like a COVID outbreak, then it becomes a little more serious. Then we'd have to reduce. I'd still want to see the Premier League.
And also also another point is kind of like Bundesliga, League One, Serie A, La Liga Santander. They're not postponing, so
they're not, and it's only Premier League, which is crazy.
It'll throw you off schedule. So that could definitely have like a big effect come like summer. Teams are getting ready because Euros are coming up.
Euros are coming, yep,
so
absolutely.
And Euros should happen.
Definitely.
So there's not like a time where it's like, oh, we can cut games. You need to be ready.
There's like no excuses.
No excuses, yeah. And now I'm gonna give you so we're nearing the halfway point of the season, and I have 2 predictions that I'm gonna give you. Aston Villa will finish. Kevin, I want your reaction to these.
Yeah.
Aston Villa will finish top 5 in the Premier League. They lead the game in shots per game with 16 and offensive efficiency. They lead the league with 7.02.
My reaction.
Shots per goal.
Reaction. I don't think. Personally, I have to respectfully disagree. I don't think Aston Villa will make it to the top 5, knowing all the competition that Premier League has to offer. I think Aston Villa, they won't get relegated this season. My prediction originally, before the campaign started, was that Aston Villa was going to get relegated, but I didn't know the amount of signings that they made would heavily impact their team today. So I said Aston Villa was going to finish 18th, but that wasn't the clear case. So right now, what I'm saying, I think Aston Villa, they're gonna make it to the top part of the table, and I'm just gonna say they're gonna finish in 9th in the league. I think that's a fair ranking for them.
I think this Villa team's so efficient. Obviously, that stat kind of shows their shots per game with 16. They put more of those goals on goal in the goal, and they are dominating. They
dominate. Yeah.
That's why I kind of see that Villa can make a run. They're scary. They have the most efficient offense in the Premier League. So definitely something to watch out for. Yeah. Then my second prediction: Southampton will not finish in the top half of the Premier League. They rank 15th in shots per game, and they've kind of gotten, like, a few of these games they've gotten lucky with, like, goals they've put in. I see this team kind of like slipping out of the top half of the Premier League despite their great form and their win over Liverpool.
I think I kind of agree with you on that. I mean, we never exactly know, but considering the last time, like before that Southampton against Liverpool game, their last Premier League game was back in December 13th, where they beat Sheffield United 3-0. But besides that, they've been drawing and losing games, and I personally think that if they keep that form up where they just win just one game out of every like 3 or 4, that's not going to be really good for them. Yeah, it'll give teams like Aston Villa, like West Ham, like Crystal Palace, like more opportunities to skip past them in the Premier League table. So I agree with you on that. I don't think Southampton is going to finish in the top half of the table.
That's good. Awesome. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be back to discuss the rest of Europe and the transfers.
We are back on the Soccer Show on SleepyHollowRadio.com, and now we're going to talk about around Europe, the results that happened around Europe. So Bayern Munich lost to Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga 3-2, and this Borussia Mönchengladbach team is the only team in history to have beaten Hansi Flick's Bayern Munich like 2 times in one season, I think, or 2 times facing, like, going back to back in the Bundesliga. I think
get out the broom, it's a sweep.
And then even worse news for Bayern Munich is that they lost to second division side Holstein Kiel in the Pokal Cup by penalties, which means they will not be winning a treble this year.
No trouble for Bayern Munich, and also they've lost 2 matches this year in 2021. Yeah. That is actually more losses than in all of 2020.
This is ridiculous. I don't see them winning the Champions League with this form. Definitely not.
They got to get out of this form. And I mean, talking about, before we go into Bayern Munich fully break this team down, Borussia Mönchengladbach, they got Manchester City. They're kind of this underrated team that could make kind of jump on Manchester City.
I really hope that I know Manchester City get these lucky draws with like the group stage and like the knockout rounds.
They get whatever they want.
I really hope that Borussia Mönchengladbach give them like a really competitive match. Like, I hope that this match goes back and forth, that Borussia Mönchengladbach get on the ball, go attacking most of the time. I think with that type of match, I think it would be very interesting to watch, and we wouldn't see like a Manchester City dominating match, because as of now, Manchester City look like the favorites to win overall, but you never know with this Borussia Mönchengladbach side, especially coming to win against Bayern Munich. This is crazy. And then they did tie with Real Madrid in the group stage. I mean, they were looking
It'll be interesting. And now going back to Bayern Munich, I mean, they had that Leroy Sané had an amazing curling free kick.
That was a good free kick. It wasn't enough, unfortunately.
And that was not like, it was like, 2-1, Bayern Munich's got it.
What makes this game really interesting and surprising was that Holstein Kiel scored a goal in the 90th minute, literally the last second of the game, to tie it, to make it 2-2, and that made them go into extra time, which is like without that goal, Bayern Munich would have won. It would have been an easy win, and they went through.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
It's crazy to see that, how like you lose DFB Pokal, and now like it's like questions. Everyone's kind of questioning: is Bayern Munich out? Are they done? I think you can never count Bayern Munich out of anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about Champions League and the Bundesliga. So I think, yes, they're in a rough stretch. They can find their form so fast.
Absolutely. I think that, it's time for Bayern to improve, but let's move on to Schalke, who finally won a game, this time against Hoffenheim. We're going to talk about that special individual in the U.S. men's national team,
Matthew Hopp,
later on. So Borussia Dortmund knocked off Leipzig 3-1. This was a impressive match for Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho.
Erling Haaland finally returned. Jadon Sancho is finally back to the form we knew him and what he could play.
There were these 2 goals that were just wonderful. Like, I would consider them team goals, because
just team goals. Everyone's working together. Everyone knows who everyone's going to be.
That is perfect chemistry. And it seems as though the sacking of Lucien Favre just hasn't like made a negative impact for the team. They've been rolling.
And yeah, they've definitely been rolling. And just if Jadon Sancho's scoring, Erling Haaland's scoring, Gio Reyna's like giving like great balls, everyone's playing. It's a very cohesive team right now.
Yeah. And we could eventually see like this team overcome Leipzig in the league table and become runners up. Like,
they're right back in the race.
Yeah. We're going to La Liga now, where Atletico Madrid remain La Liga leaders after a 2-0 win over Sevilla. And Barcelona defeated Real Sociedad in the semi-final match for the Spanish Super Cup through penalties. This is the first time that Barca has been involved in a penalty shootout since 1998. Ter Stegen had a terrific match.
Ter Stegen.
6 incredible saves.
He won them that game single-handedly.
Absolutely. And with the 2, with the saves he's had throughout the full game, and also 2 brilliant penalty saves in the shootout. He won man of the match in my opinion.
I want to talk about 100% deserved man of the match. Going back, everyone was so hyped. They were like, oh, if Real Madrid wins their matchup, they will meet in the championship. But
that
Real Madrid
did not happen.
Lose to Athletic Club 2-1.
Real Madrid now, it's like you win or you lose. Like, it's like, the thing today with football is that Barcelona and Real Madrid aren't as they're
not these super teams you remember them as.
That's exactly. I think Raul Garcia had an amazing match last night against Real Madrid with 2 goals. Obviously, Lucas Vazquez, I think, had like a terrible match. He made an error that led to that goal for Bilbao, and of course he caused the penalty. And it's just.
And then also, I did not like this move by Zinedine Zidane, where he was complaining about the snow in their 0-0 draw to Osasuna.
Yeah.
I'm just, come on.
That you don't do that, man.
And then Simeone fired right back with comments saying when the snow's coming down, once the first whistle blows, you're playing soccer, you forget all about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just no big deal.
Just shots fired.
You've seen I've seen MLS games where it's completely covered in snow, and you kick the ball and it just it seems like it's going through into the net, but it just stops because of the snow. It's just okay, you just keep playing. I forgot which match in particular that is from the MLS, but
I think that definitely has an impact on your players if your manager's kind of getting annoyed about the snow. You got to motivate your players and
absolutely,
let's go out there, let's play. Osasuna's not playing on grass, we're both playing on snow. Let's go, same conditions, go out there.
Messi's in incredible form, 4 goals in 2 matches. We've seen not the best start from him this season, but
definitely a shaky start, but now he's
coming back.
I think he's playing very relaxed. I think that's kind of what's happening. Obviously the transfer market's now open for him and teams can contact him. I just think he's he knows what he wants to do, and I think because of that now that whole almost, I don't want to call it scandal, but that whole Barcelona kind of just locking Messi up, that whole situation, that's behind him, and he's playing much more relaxed. He knows it's his team.
Yeah.
So,
And PSG defeated Olympique Marseille 2-1 to win the French Super Cup. Goals from Neymar and Icardi secured the win for the Parisians. Mauricio Pochettino won his first trophy as a manager. It's good for him.
I mean, kind of like a freebie trophy.
Yeah.
Don't want to discredit him.
Yeah.
But good for him.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him.
I mean, he hasn't won anything with Spurs, so to see him win
he won a trophy on his 11th day as manager. Cool to see.
Yeah. And in the Serie A, despite Juventus ending their non-losing streak, Milan remained top of the league, only 3 points ahead of the runners-up Inter. And I mean, we know Milan lost to Juventus 3-1. I think that was like a crazy game. But if they like continue to win like they used to, I think that's just gonna keep them up, like their title hopes up for the Serie A title.
And Zlatan's back.
Zlatan's back. That's gonna be a big confidence booster. I think it would be lovely to see someone besides Juventus winning the Serie A.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if you saw Zlatan's warm-ups. There was a player standing right in front of him, and he was swinging his legs over.
That's just crazy. I mean, to do that, especially like an old age, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's what is he, 30?
He's 39.
39. That sounds right, and that's just crazy to see.
That is ridiculous. And we're going on to transfers. We have, first of all, Carlos Aleñá joins Getafe on loan for the rest of the season from Barcelona. Sebastian Haller joins Ajax from West Ham on a $25 million fee. We know Haller didn't have an impressive run in England with West Ham, but he did score a goal with Ajax on his debut, so that's good.
He's definitely going to improve with Ajax. I think that league definitely suits him a little. Definitely less physical, so I think he'll definitely find like a good place and start playing well there.
Yeah, a Japanese wonder kid, Takefusa Kubo, joins Getafe on a loan deal for the rest of the season. He joins from Real Madrid. He was previously in Villarreal. He didn't have a good loan spell, especially with the manager, who didn't want to give him enough playing time. So now we have Moussa Dembele. This is going to be a big one. Joins Atletico Madrid on a loan deal till the end of the season from Lyon. Islam Slimani is his replacement from Leicester City, so he's going to Lyon. Timothy Fosu-Mensah joins Bayer Leverkusen permanently from Manchester United.
And I think that was unexpected.
Yeah, he wasn't getting enough playing time.
He wasn't getting enough playing time at Man U, and he has a role for this Bayer Leverkusen team, so they need him there.
Mesut Ozil is looking more and more closer to a move to Turkish side Fenerbahce. Mikel Arteta, however, saying that there is no deal made yet. As of now, he still looks to be an Arsenal player. But we will see.
Mesut Ozil, this definitely reminds me of that Gareth Bale situation in Real Madrid, where kind of like just didn't see the field. And we don't know if Ozil could. I don't know how he's training. Arteta hasn't talked about that.
Yeah,
if he's training well, I mean, he could still be good, or maybe Arteta's right and he's making the right call not playing him.
One thing's for sure correct is that we all miss him. We miss seeing him on the pitch.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and some last confirmed transfer we have here is Luka Jovic joins Eintracht Frankfurt on loan. This is really
we have to paint this picture for our listeners.
Yeah.
Eintracht Frankfurt signed Luka Jovic for $240K in 2017. In 2019,
oh my God.
Frankfurt sell Luka Jovic to Real Madrid for $73 million. 2021, Luka Jovic returns to Frankfurt on loan.
This is ridiculous.
They know how to do business.
For sure. And I mean, this is a really good move for Luka Jovic. I mean, hopefully he gets back to his form like he was in Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, hopefully they actually do well.
Right welcome back.
Yeah, well, like literally imagine his former teammates like seeing him in the locker room and saying, so my friend, what happened back at Madrid? And there's this like this Thanos meme where it's like from Infinity War, it's like something, and then you came back to me or something like that. And I saw that on social media, which was pretty funny.
And he's back. He's definitely gonna help that club. That club could definitely make it's a lot more dangerous now.
Hopefully, he scores a lot more goals now. I think. I mean, Obviously, it would be ideal if for Frankfurt fans to see Sebastian Haller and Luka Jovic playing in the same team once again, but unfortunately that wasn't the case because Haller obviously went to Ajax. But we're going to rumors now, where Brian Reynolds, a youngster from FC Dallas, looks set to join Juventus, which is crazy.
I think it's so cool how FC Dallas is. I'm sorry, not FC Dallas. Juventus is picking up all these American stars. Obviously, Weston McKennie, and now possibly Brian Reynolds.
This is crazy. I mean,
to have two Americans, you got 2 Americans on Barcelona, 2 Americans at Juventus. Who thought that would happen?
Yeah,
that's
is crazy.
Really cool to see.
David Alaba still is on the transfer market, like rumors. There's still speculation for him going to Madrid or PSG or Barcelona. With no one knows his future as of now, but we will have to see, and we will have to wait. And finally, Dele Alli is rumored
to PSG. He is such a creative player.
I definitely see this move happening, mainly because Pochettino is from Tottenham. He's now in PSG.
And he was playing Dele Alli when...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He knows Dele Alli and Pochettino have perfect chemistry together. I think this is a good move for him, especially because he's not getting enough playing time at Spurs with the amount of like players that they have now under Jose Mourinho. So, yeah, it would be a good move. We will go to the U.S. men's national team in review. We only have 2 today, but we'll go in depth with them.
Yeah, we have 2 players we're going to address, and then we're going to address Mourinho's comments on the U.S. men's national team.
All right. So first off, Matthew Hoppe, he scored a hat trick to give Schalke their first win in over a year against Hoffenheim. They won 4-0. He scored a hat trick. The other goal was scored
American hat trick in the Bundesliga. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the other goal was scored by Amin Aritz, but this one's all about the first American hat trick in the Bundesliga.
That's amazing to see.
I mean,
and we didn't even know this guy.
Yeah,
he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's really crazy. But he was getting like starts for Schalke. He was getting like substituted on earlier games. But this guy just came out of nowhere.
And obviously, Weston McKennie was pumped to see his club just. They're finding it. They're doing well.
Especially the American connection. That's
awesome and
lovely,
exciting to see.
And it's crazy to think like first American hat trick in the Bundesliga. Who was it? Pulisic? No. Gio Reyna? No. McKennie? No. It was
Tyler Adams? No.
Yeah, exactly. Like what the heck? This is just like came out of nowhere.
And people thought like Schalke was done, and 4-0, they're back.
You don't see those like every day.
This is the club. This is the Schalke we remember. And
yeah. Absolutely.
I think they can easily escape relegation.
And yeah, you have to give credit in that game also to Amin Aritz, who had a hat trick of assists.
Teeing up goals for Matthew Hope, but he rockets them in.
I mean, a really good match for Schalke. Hopefully they go back to their winning ways.
Yeah, I don't want to see them get relegated.
Yeah. We got now Zach Steffen, who a lot of people forgot about him because the U.S. now uses like goalkeepers like Sean Johnson. But Zach Steffen, he has been part of this men's national team for quite a while now, and he kept a clean sheet in the EFL Cup game against Manchester United and in the FA Cup against Birmingham.
And obviously, like Ederson's dealing with a COVID.
Yeah, he's been dealing with some issues as of late.
But he seems like he's getting through it. But for now, Steffen's had his opportunity, and he's definitely seizing that opportunity and playing really well.
We know he's played in the MLS with Columbus Crew. Then he made a permanent move to Manchester City, only to be loaned to German side Fortuna Düsseldorf last season. But it's good to see Manchester City are now going to use him. He's gaining more confidence, which is good. He could even start, like, obviously, whenever Ederson's not available due to, like, family issues or COVID or just a simple illness. I think that definitely Zach Steffen is there, and he will be providing good games for Manchester City.
I definitely agree. Now we're going to talk about Jose Mourinho's comments on the U.S. men's national team. So
I can read this if you want.
I'll start. So the first quote by Mourinho. I want your reaction. Lots of good players in Germany, in England. The players are coming, and the players have quality. I think you have the players to have a very interesting national team. And where do we even... I mean, this is classic Mourinho. Mourinho can never give a team credit.
I mean, obviously...
he can never say this team looks
That's what makes Mourinho such a unique person. It's just like the mouth he has. And
Interesting national team.
interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, we know like many of these players from the national team. They play in Europe. They don't like typically when you see a national team, you have to have like it's like not required, but like it's like it happens with every team. You have to have at least one player from that specific league. Like let's say for Portugal, you have to have a player from the Portuguese league represented there. You have to yeah. But in terms of like the U.S. men's national team, it's like almost not the case. But
Everyone's playing everywhere.
yeah, everyone's playing everywhere, which is ridiculous. And I think Mourinho, what he's trying to say there is that that's the thing that makes it interesting. It's you know, he has had experience with facing American players, and there's times where it goes his way and times where it doesn't, and that's like he gets a little like mouthy with that.
Yeah. And I think this was his other comment, which I think was very positive for the MLS. In this moment, European scouts, they have an eye on MLS. I promise you that. And
I think
to see the MLS starting to gain traction, like people are scouting the MLS.
It is crazy because I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like this is a really like controversial topic. It's the MLS like European players coming to the MLS. There's numerous amount of like talented players in Europe right now that would love to go to the MLS. Lionel Messi being one of them, who said he'd want to play MLS football. Mesut Ozil as well said if it's not Turkey, it has to be MLS. I can't think of any more players, but ideally, what I think right now is MLS. It's not the best league in the world.
It's not the best league.
It's not. But if you want to come here and play, we would be more than happy to see you play.
We would love to have you.
But in terms
America.
of the competition here, like competition wise, anyone could win the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
It's the thing with playing football here is that obviously football, like American football, is the most popular sport. I believe it is the most popular sport in this country, and football isn't as like soccer. I should say soccer now because then people are gonna get confused. Soccer isn't as celebrated as it is in other countries overseas.
Or in other countries, that is the sport.
Like let's say South America, Europe. Like people crave soccer. They crave it. They are so in love with the sport. Here, it's not. It's like where most people.
Everyone's kind of split between sports.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And I'm saying, people who like players like Messi and Ozil who want to come here will have you, but it's not going to be the most ideal
scenario. Yeah.
Exactly, not the most ideal scenario like compared to playing in Barcelona or in Arsenal. Like you're not going to have the same atmosphere.
But I think they know what they're going to get, and I think.
But hey, it's an experience. It's called an experience for a reason.
It's a good environment.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my opinion on that topic. So
do you any other comments?
I think that's pretty much it.
That's good.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you guys for listening today, and we will be back next week.
Yeah, this has been the Soccer Show.
He's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in. And forget away.
¡Golazo! ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!